So President Trump was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm going to tell you who nominated him and why he's not going to get it. But first, I need to ask you guys a really big favor. Please, please pray for me. I honestly believe that Pope Leo XIV is going to accelerate the new evangelization that was started by Pope St. John Paul II and continued through Pope Benedict and Pope Francis really accelerated, but I think Pope Leo is going to accelerate it more. And a while back, I don't know, maybe a month now, maybe a little longer than a month, my daughter-in-law recommended I go on TikTok because it's so full of negativity and I could shine a light on there. And I really never wanted to go, nothing to do with TikTok. Number one, because they're communist owned. Number two, because it just seems like a cesspool, the little bit I've seen of it. You know, and then I prayed about it. I said, I'll pray about it. And I prayed about it. And I really felt like the Lord was impressing upon my heart. Where do you think I would be? I would be with the sinners. And so I make short videos because you can only get 10-minute videos on there, but I notice people that watch TikTok got about a 3-minute attention span. So I try and make these 3-minute videos. So you'll notice I'm doing a lot more short videos on here, and I'm praying that God uses these to bring people to Him and to bring Catholics who left the church back to the church. That's the new evangelization. The old evangelization, which is still in effect, we need to do the old evangelization, evangelizing pagans. But the new evangelization is evangelize and baptize Christians and bringing them home to the Catholic Church. So if you could do me that favor, and then one other smaller favor, if you could subscribe, and if you're subscribed, check. YouTube's doing that shadow banning to me again. I wonder why. But a lot of my friends are telling me they got unsubscribed because I got slaughtered over the weekend with unsubscribers, and a lot of them I know literally unsubscribed because they sent me hate mail for supporting this war, but so it goes. But so Trump was nominated before this peace deal. So let me back it up. So last night I made a video how Iran tapped out, and I explained everybody's getting worried because they're bombing us. I'm like, I'm seeing it 100% different, a 180 different look at it than everybody's reporting on YouTube. I'm saying no, this is showing they're tapped out. They're tapping out. They coordinated this strike. Hey, we're going to throw a few bombs, knock them out of the sky, but we could tell our people we retaliated because they have nothing left. They tapped out. So what I do, I just record this and then I'll get ready for work, or at night I'll record it and then I'll go eat dinner. But after I record it, I just push the button to upload it. And depending on my internet, it could take 15 minutes to an hour to post it on YouTube. And so last night while I was uploading, my son texted me, and he sent me the article I posted about Donald Trump announcing a complete ceasefire between Israel and Iran. And he said, Dad, I would like to give you a promotion. Can you be the editor of global affairs for Turin Global? So if you're not familiar with that, TurinGlobal.com is my son's news site. So it started as a financial news site because he's got an MBA and a master's of finance. So he's working on his doctorate now, but he's really in tune with financial things. But he knows everything connects to finances, just like everything connects to religion and everything connects to politics. So he had me doing the religious stuff on there, writing religious articles, and now he asked me to do global affairs. But so check it out, TurinGlobal.com. And he asked me how I was so right in my predictions throughout this war, for weeks. And I told him I've been watching the same people, same group of people, names change, but their philosophy doesn't, for 40 years. So I know who the liars are, and I know how they played their games. So I'm gonna give you a few of those things at some point in the video. But first, I'm gonna tell you about the Peace Prize nomination. This happened like a week ago. Pakistan nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Now he's nominated. I forgot to check, see when they actually choose, the panel chooses, but it's usually way before, you know. So the reason Pakistan nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, because like a month ago, not that long ago, maybe a little longer than a month, India and Pakistan was on the verge of war. My son actually wrote about it in terrainglobal.com. That he thought that they were about to get in a huge war. This would have been huge. This would have been a big deal. And they were exchanging fire. They were killing each other. Like, it was happening. And Trump negotiated a peace deal between them. Now, if this was Joe Biden or Obama, you would have heard about it. It would have been the biggest news. He would have been like, "Oh yeah, he's guaranteed." They would have been guaranteed the Nobel Prize. But because it was Donald Trump, the media like kind of poo-pooed it. They didn't make a big deal out of it. But there's other reasons he should get the nomination. Not only that, I made a video a couple months ago, Trump Stops the War. I was talking about the war between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. This was a bloody war. This was a brutal war in Africa. It's been going on for 30 years. And he negotiated a peace deal and got peace in Africa. And then add to this, he gets peace. He got a ceasefire. Now, a lot of skeptics, I heard the Democrats say this, "Oh, they're still firing. They're still firing. Even after they signed this peace deal, they're still firing at each other." Well, some of these Democrats know better, and they're just saying that to fearmonger and make Trump look bad. But some of them are naive. Like AOC has no clue. AOC is a beautiful woman, but she has no clue about anything political. You know, she's just all 100% emotionalism. That's how she gets her base stirred up. But every ceasefire in my lifetime doesn't take place the minute they agree to a ceasefire. There's a time. Okay, this ceasefire, and I think with the Iran-Israel ceasefire, it was like within 8 hours. And this might sound funny, but this is just the way it is, because there's already missions in progress. So like, okay, let us complete these missions. It'll take us about 6 hours to complete these missions. So we'll call it in 8 hours. That's why that's happening. But why won't Trump get the Peace Prize? Because the same globalists, the same liberals that run the mainstream media and lie about us conservatives, lie about Trump, they run the Nobel Peace committees. They're on the Nobel Peace Committee. I mean, just think about this. When Obama was running for president, they nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize because of his vision and his rhetoric. This is what the liberals do. He did nothing. He was a senator for like a couple years. And then when he was running for president, he spoke. There was nobody that could give a better speech than Obama. He gave the best speeches. I'll give him that. He could talk. He definitely had the gift of gab, better than any politician that I've ever seen. Or maybe Clinton had a little better gift of gab. But they were close. But they loved the way he spoke. He made them feel so good. So they nominated him. And then 8 months later, he's in office 8 months, didn't do nothing. They gave it to him. And even he said he felt funny accepting it because he didn't do anything. And he became just as much as a war hawk, or if not more, than G.W. Bush. Remember, he did the surge in Afghanistan and sent like close to 200,000 new troops in Afghanistan. So he was definitely not a peace president. And then comes Trump, and he gets the Abraham Accords signed. When he sent his son-in-law Jared to the Middle East to try and negotiate peace, the media laughed at him. They said he will never get these countries to agree to a peace agreement. And he did. He got, I believe it was Morocco, Sudan, Qatar, the UAE. Saudi Arabia was about to sign on, even though they didn't officially sign on. They started having trade deals and relationships with Israel. This was huge. The Abraham Accords would have got any other president in the history of the world the Nobel Peace Prize. And in fact, he was nominated, I forget who, might have been like a prime minister from England, or it escapes me now, but he was nominated for that Peace Prize. Just like he's nominated now, and he's not going to get it. He didn't get it then either. But in addition to the Abraham Accords in his first term, he was the first president in 15 years that didn't allow Russia to invade a neighboring country. Now, we all know they invaded Crimea under Obama, and we remember Obama, hot mic, he didn't know the mic was on. He told Medvedev, hey, my second term, I'll have more leadway. Tell Vlad I just got to talk tough. And then sure enough, his second term is when Putin took Crimea. George W. Bush, Russia invaded Georgia. They didn't invade nobody under Trump. And Trump was also the first president in 30 years not to get us into any new wars. And even George H. Bush got us into the Persian Gulf. People say, oh, he got us into the Persian Gulf. But he did it like a conservative. Like I told you in the other video, liberals think, you got to be nice to these terrorists and they'll be nice to you, which is ridiculous. Libertarians think we'll let them do what they want. They want to get nukes. They want to attack people. It's none of our business. Let's just stay isolated to America. But true conservatives believe when our interests are attacked, we got to use military might, the greatest military ever known to man, for our interests. So when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, that was our interest. We had Americans in there working, drilling the oil. We were using their oil. And everybody's just worried about oil. Well, oil is important. Without oil, elderly people in New York State freeze to death. Oil is important for humanity. But we went in there with our military might. I remember it was called, Strike and All or something. But we just smashed them with air power, where they were actually just surrendering to us. And then we got out. And G.H.W. Bush was a conservative in foreign affairs. He was moderate in domestic affairs. That's why he didn't get reelected. But in foreign affairs, he was a true conservative. He took care of business and he got out. And I remember at the time, all his advisors, all his generals saying, no, we need to go, and now's the time we need to go in and take out Saddam Hussein because he's going to be a problem to us further down the line. And he didn't listen to his advisors. He pulled out. So that would be a true conservative there with foreign affairs. But, and people, and again, the mainstream media painted Bush like this warmonger. He was the CIA director. He's going to get us in all these wars. And he didn't. He got us in and took us out. So then you'll hear skeptics. You'll hear skeptics say, well, Tulsi Gabbard said Iran didn't have a nuclear bomb. They weren't even making a nuclear bomb. Yes, again, listen to what's being said, not how the mainstream media is reporting it. Tulsi Gabbard was under oath. She had to be precise. The question was, does Iran have a nuclear bomb now? The answer was no. Are they making one? The answer is we have no evidence. Or do you have evidence they're making one? The answer was no evidence we're making them. Aha! They got her. No, because then when she asked, do they have enough enriched uranium to make a bomb? She said they're extremely close. No one said they had a bomb. All we've been saying is they're too close. So how close were they? According to the Atomic Energy Agency, which is no friend to America and definitely no friend to Israel, said they were within a week or two. And then from there to making it into a nuclear missile, it depends. It could be weeks, it could be months, depending on how advanced they were. But they never let inspectors in, so we don't know how advanced they were. So, again, don't listen to what they say people say. Listen to what people actually said. Because when you're under oath, you got to be precise. I mean, remember John Brennan, Obama's CIA director? Every day he's on CNN, NBC, saying, we have evidence. The CIA has evidence that Trump colluded with Russia. He goes under oath on live television, and they ask him precisely, does the CIA have evidence that Trump colluded with Russia? He says, no, there is no evidence. And then the next day he's back on CNN, and they don't ask him about that. They just keep their narrative up. Same thing with Adam Schiff, going on all these news shows saying, we have evidence. And, the Intelligence Committee has evidence. And the same people that were on the Intelligence Committee was like, no, we don't have evidence. So you're like, who's telling the truth? Who's telling the truth? Well, when they went under oath, Adam Schiff said, no, there is no evidence. So again, you got to know who the liars are. And you got to know their tactic. The tactic down the left is clear. If you read the book, Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, he was an American communist in the 60s. They had all the hippies, Obama's friends, the terrorist group, Weather Underground. They loved this guy. Obama quoted him, Clinton quoted him. But one of the rules for the radicals was always accuse your enemy of what you are. Accuse your enemy of doing what you do. And what do? They say, Trump is controlled by the banks, and the banks are controlled by the Jews. Trump is controlled by the Jews. This is how they say it. But think about this. Take a step back from all this propaganda. Take a step back. If the Jews control the banks and the Jews control Trump, why was Trump's family the most debanked family in the history of debanking? If you don't know what debanking is, it's when political motivated banks cancel your bank account, say, no, we're not going to do business with you, and they give you some stupid reason. Eric Trump and Donald J. Trump, Donald Jr., were the most debanked people in the history of debanking. Donald Trump was debanked. What's that guy, the pillow guy? He was debanked. Conservatives during the whole Biden administration were getting debanked. I mean, you think this would be big news, but the liberal media wouldn't cover it. Just like the media, again, the Jews control the media. The media censored all the conservatives. Even YouTube demonetized me for like 6 months after the 2020 election. I told you that story plenty of times. So if the Jews control the media and they control the banks and they control Trump, why is Trump the most sued, the most censored, the most debanked family in the history of America? It's because they're lying. You see, most of the world hates Israel. They don't control nobody. Israel is smaller than New Jersey. And in 1967, during the Six-Day War, Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, Kuwait, and Algeria attacked Israel. These are huge countries, size-wise. The population is huge, all these soldiers together. Israel is smaller than the state of New Jersey, and they were attacked. And in 6 days, Israel won. This is why my evangelical friends think that God's protection is on them. I used to believe that too. You know, I'm sure God still has a plan for them, but I'm not a dispensationalist. So I would say more likely it's because they're backed by the greatest military known to man, America, and we gave them the weapons. And no one realizes how far advanced America is until they challenge us. You know, we're like the 1980 Dream Team, 1984. First time the Olympics allowed the pros in. And we had Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Patrick Ewing on one team. Nobody realized how great American basketball players were until then. And then in 1973, on their holiday, Yom Kippur, they were attacked again. Surprise attack. Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Jordan, Libya, Morocco, Saudi Arabia, and Lebanon all attacked them. And Israel won that one in 20 days. Israel was outnumbered like, 200 to 1 by their enemies that hated them. They couldn't stand them. They want to kill them. They want to annihilate every Jew. But you notice the one name I didn't mention in that was Iran. Because up until 1979, Iran was a peaceful democracy. They were our friend. And then these religious Muslim extremists, these lunatics that run it today, took over, declared war on Israel and America, took 60 Americans hostages for over 400 days. You know when they released them? The first day of Ronald Reagan's presidency, because the only thing bullies understand is strength. You can't talk nice to them like the liberals and think, oh, if we're nice to them, they'll be nice to us. You can't ignore them like the libertarians. You got to show them strength. Peace through strength was Reagan's doctrine, and it's what's Trump's doctrine, who also brought peace. Well, how come they didn't attack him yet? Because as you see, Iran sucks at war. Their military is terrible. Their war planners are dumb. But they're good at terrorism. So the billions of dollars they made from oil, the billions of dollars that Obama gave them, the billions of dollars that Biden gave them, they funded these terrorist savages. And these are savages that kill little infants and rape little infants. These people are sick savages. These terrorist groups, they fund Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, the Houthis. They use them. But now Israel has destroyed all their proxies and destroyed their military. So this is why they want peace. It's called peace through strength. So it just blows my mind. I'm not surprised the left will always blame the Jews for everything, but I see like good Catholics on YouTube saying, oh, the reason we're in this war is because Trump's listening to Bibi Netanyahu. No, Trump's his own man. He's got people around him that disagree with him. He got the most anti-war national security advisor, Tulsi Gabbard. J.D. Vance is anti-war, his vice president. You know, he's got a lot of good people, different views. He's going to make his own decision. Nobody controls this man. So the next time you hear someone say, oh, it's the Jews' fault, turn them off. You know, they may say, I'm not an anti-Semitic, I'm just anti-Zionist. Maybe they don't know what these terms mean, but they're repeating the lies from the left that hate the Jews and hate America. Think about it. The same people that hate America hate the Jews. Just think about it. The same people that lie about Donald Trump, lie about Republican conservatives, like me and most of you guys out there, I'm sure, lie about conservatives. These are the same people telling us what we should believe about Israel. You think maybe they're lying? I think they are. So think for yourself. And remember what I always say. It's not who's right, it's what's right. Don't say, well, I love this guy. This guy is brilliant in theology. Oh, maybe he's not brilliant in politics. Or this guy is brilliant in this. You know, I love this guy. I know he's a good man. But we could be wrong. I could be wrong. You know, I don't think I'm wrong. Otherwise, I wouldn't be making this video. But I know I could be wrong. If you show me evidence, then I'll admit it. But I haven't seen any evidence I'm wrong. In fact, last night, I told you the reason I make these political videos because I see a lot of fear amongst people in America, a lot of anxiety, like especially young people, millennials and Gen Zers are all full of anxiety and fear. And that acronym fear is false evidence appearing real. Most people are fearful of things that aren't even real. Most things that people worry about never happen. I mean, like this is like a true statistics that psychiatrists like actually monitored. Like most things that we worry about is going to happen in the future don't happen. So stop being fearful. God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of a sound mind and love. So embrace the Holy Spirit, pray, hope, and be happy. God bless and stay Catholic.